Hi lovies, welcome back to today's video. I don't even have an intro, guys. We are literally going to just get right into this video. I want to be very direct, straight to the point. So without further ado, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And quite literally sleeping next to a stranger for close to 3 years, and I never knew. And the most difficult part about it is this person's true colors, who they truly were, is so beyond the person they painted themselves out to be that it physically causes me discomfort because I genuinely feel wholeheartedly I don't know who I spent 3 years sleeping next to. This person had a key to my apartment. I gave him all of me, everything I possibly could. And like the scariest part is he didn't only fool me, he fooled everybody around me. This story is about Carlos, my finding out he cheated on Valentine's Day, my manifesting a narcissist, him. And he's my most recent relationship and probably my last relationship for a very long time because the way he messed with my mind is a way I don't exactly know how to heal from. Because for those of you who are new here, I have so many story times about my first boyfriend, John, and how toxic he was. He cheated also. He was more of like an abusive partner in his actions and verbally, all of those things. But it almost made sense to me when I found out he cheated because he was such a shitty person to me. What blows my mind about Carlos is the fact that he had me so fooled. And like that's the thing, guys. Like I feel like a lot of us who have been in a toxic relationship or been in a relationship where someone cheats on you, it's almost like, yeah, you didn't see it coming, but once you find out, you can kind of understand. You know what I mean? It kind of makes sense because this person wasn't the best and they painted things in a way that, you know, like you could tell something was just off about them. The thing about Carlos is he had me so fooled, and he had everyone fooled. He had my family fooled, he had my friends fooled, anyone I introduced him to. And the scariest part about Carlos, honestly, guys, is the fact that he was capable of painting himself out to be a complete different version of himself to the point where everything he said and his reasonings for everything and the way he introduced himself was so morally sound, honest, loyal. He didn't drink, he didn't smoke, he didn't party, he didn't do any of the things, and he made that his sole personality. And even now I know that that's not all the way true because he has drank, and like that's the crazy part. Like he would just like throw small things in there, you know, like along the way where I'd be like, I thought you didn't drink, and he would tell me like a little story and be like, well, you know, I did this and that, blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? And that's the thing, because he sold it to everybody so well. It's like it was so well rehearsed because he had been spewing the same lies to everyone he encountered for so long that he really started to believe it. And it's terrifying. Like, genuinely. I actually freak myself out sometimes when I think about how many times I laid next to this person thinking he was one way and the whole entire time he was completely different. And I genuinely, in my heart, believe that he is a pathological liar because he has been lying since the beginning over shit that he didn't even need to lie about, guys. Like, everything from the way his exes treated him. He told me that all of his exes cheated on him. Okay, when I found out he was cheating on me on Valentine's Day, and I went through his phone and I texted all of them to text me, to text my Instagram, because I don't need this man to be trying to change the narrative. I want to hear it directly from the source. When I spoke to his ex-girlfriends, they all said the same thing, that he was unfaithful, that he was the reason that they broke up because he was cheating. Which is hard, right? It's tricky because obviously it takes two people to make a situation happen, but at the same time, he had told all of these girls that he was single, that he wasn't talking to anyone. Multiple people. And like I think that's the thing that hurt me the most. Multiple people asked him if he had a girlfriend, and every single time he said no. Every single time. And the crazy part is when I would go out, when I would tell him about, like guys hitting on me or guys in my DMs hitting on me, and like how, the things that I would say because I would always defend my relationship. The first thing he would always ask me was, "Did you tell them you have a boyfriend?" And I would send him screenshots and be like, "Yep," and I'll insert them here. "Yes, I have a boyfriend. Thank you for the compliment, but I have a boyfriend." I've always been one of those people who has been very firm about, like, if a guy were to come on to me when I'm in a relationship, I will never be like, "No, I can't because I have a boyfriend." It will be, "No, I am not interested. I have a boyfriend." You know what I mean? Like, because I think there's a difference between saying you can't do something because you have a boyfriend and saying you can't do something because you're not interested. Because you're not interested means that you're shutting it down. And like, I did that every single time, and every single time he denied me to everyone. And it was crazy because he was the one who rushed me into meeting his family, into all of the things. I was like, it was literally, guys, like 2 weeks, not even, of us talking, and he wanted me to meet his family already. And I was like, like, why so soon? Blah, blah, blah. Like, why can't we just wait? And like keep this between us. And he was like, "No, no, no, like that's not how my family works. My family's gonna want this, this, and that, blah, 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 blah. They're gonna want to meet you, this, that, and that." And like looking back on it, I don't know why the fuck he ever brought me home. And he told me that I was the first girl he ever brought home. Bullshit. No, I wasn't the first girl he brought home. I was like the third. And like just small shit like that, that he just lied about naturally for no reason. For no reason. And it's just like crazy to me. And like that's the other thing, because he also told me he had only ever been in serious relationships. Okay. So then when I asked him for the list of all of his exes, there were 9 of them. Like 9. And so I'm thinking, we are 21, okay? At the time we were 20, you've had 9 relationships, and you mean to tell me every single one of them was serious?
Are you delusional? Do you suffer from a mental illness? Do you think you do?
But you cannot commit to me. Because if you guys remember, if you haven't seen that story time, Carlos did not want to commit to me for so long. He kept telling me, like it's bad timing. He's got to focus on football. He's got so much going on in his life. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. He can't be in a committed relationship. But as soon as I was like, okay, like that's fine. I eventually got to a point where I was like, if you can't be in a relationship, that's fine, but you're gonna need to let me go so I can find someone who wants to be with me. And that was when he was like, "No, like I want to be with you," and like he finally committed. But it was after I basically laid the law down and was like, "I'm not gonna just be like twiddling my thumbs being your little F buddy. Like that's not what this is. If you're not going to take me seriously, then I'm not gonna take you seriously, and we're just not gonna talk." And so he settled for a relationship, and I know now that it was him settling. And I think he did it just to keep me quiet, because obviously the whole entire relationship he was sexting all of these other girls, like just saying real nasty shit like, "I want to breastfeed." And like when I tell you guys, like the girls, because it was more than his ex-girlfriends, like he had at least 15 conversations going with different girls. Probably like 5 or 6 of them were his ex-girlfriends, and the rest of them were just random girls or girls that he had been, knowing, whatever. And when I went through all of these messages, there was so much, guys, like so much. He goes to the gym all the time, right? Goes to the gym at night. I never really had an issue with it because he always told me he was just going because like that's the only time his other guy friend could go. They were like best friends, and he was like, like it's just because like it's the one time that works. I work during the day, this, that, whatever. Okay, go to the gym, fine. Tell me why the girl, the first girl that I see on his Snapchat, that day when I'm asking if I can go through his Snapchat, he deletes the conversation with her. And it was a girl who he told me about briefly, because it was the girlfriend of one of his friends. So I didn't think anything of their friendship because I'm thinking like obviously like like you're not going to do your buddy like that, right? Wrong, because guys seem to, well, this guy, no loyalty to anyone, not his friend, not anyone, because when I scrolled through the messages and like she's sending him like bikini pictures and like they're talking sexually, just inappropriate conversations, and I keep scrolling and I keep scrolling, and tell me why there's like 3, 4, 5 pictures of them together at the gym. Gym selfies, all like looking as if they are a couple. And I saw that and I was so mad that morning. Obviously, like I was just like my life was flashing before my eyes, but I was so pissed off and I was like, you seriously have no loyalty to even your guy friends? Like you're out here posing pictures with your friend's girlfriend? Like does he know you're doing this? Like does this look right to you? Like so I see you're not just a snake to me, you're a snake to your own people. That's crazy. That's insane because it's one thing to disrespect me, but to to disrespect one of your closest friends or who you say is one of your closest friends, you are going to disrespect him like that by being all buddied up with his girlfriend, talking inappropriately with his girlfriend. I see your true colors. And then there was the next girl. And honestly, this girl and I are cordial. She was super sweet. We follow each other on social media. Like, no beef with her because she was so honest. And she was one of the first people who reached out to me after I messaged all of the girls on Snapchat, right? Because when I found out he was cheating and I was going through all the conversations, I just started texting everyone, this is my Instagram, allysapeete, DM me. And so she was the first one, and she was like, hey, if you really are Carlos's girlfriend, he sent me your guys' sex tape. And that blew my mind. And okay, for those of you guys who haven't watched the Finding Out Who Cheated on Valentine's Day, while I'm going through all of this shit, while I'm talking to all of these girls, Carlos is standing right there in my apartment, right? Because I went the fuck off, okay? Like I was so mad, but like I was in the disbelief stage where I needed the proof, and he's like sitting there like just like shaking, like asking me like why I need to talk to all of these people, why do I need to text them? I'm like, because I can't trust shit that you're gonna tell me. Like obviously you have been lying this entire time, so why the fuck am I going to talk to you? Like you can just sit there and look stupid because I'm going to talk to the source, because the source is not going to lie, okay? And none of them did. All of them were so honest, all of them were so nice. I mean, except for one, but most of them were nice. And yeah, so she's telling me like, yeah, he sent me your sex tape, he did this, he did that, and he was actually planning on coming out to see me when his football team travels here. And she was like in Florida at the time, and I look back at the messages, I'm like, give me your phone. Look back at the messages, and I see he indeed is planning a trip to go see her, all of that. Okay, on to the next girl. This one, I'm seeing videos of her shaking her ass for him. He's like so many saved videos of her, so many saved videos. And the thing about this guy is that like grosses me out so much is because Carlos would always say how much he like loved nudes and he loved sexting, and like that was like his biggest turn on. And he used to always make it sound like that it was only like that between us, and like he only wanted to see me like that. Watching how many girls he had saved in his phone, genuinely, guys, like I will never look through a man's phone again. It was disgusting. It was disgusting. And like the girls, guys, the girls, like I hate to be that bitch that's like, oh my gosh, they were not me, but like that's not even me being biased. Like it was like he had absolutely no standards with the shit that he was asking to see from some of these girls, and the girls he was asking, like embarrassing. Embarrassing. Truly embarrassing. Like
Are you not ashamed of yourself? Are you not embarrassed? This is really embarrassing.
I wish in that moment I could just take myself completely out of the situation, because when I tell you, that's how bad some of these girls were. Not all of them. Some of them were some of them were pretty, okay? And the ones that I'm cordial with, obviously I'm gonna think like, yes, you were kind of a bad bitch, but not all of them. And so this next girl, right, I see her shaking ass and everything, and he's asking for multiple videos. I text her the same thing. My Instagram is this. I am Carlos's girlfriend of 3 years. Please just text me on my Instagram. She does. She's asking. I'm explaining. I'm like, I'm his girlfriend. You know, I'm not mad at you. I'm just trying to get the full story because he's got all of these different girls in his Snapchat, and I'm just trying to figure out what the situation is going on. You know, what is going on? And she explains, and she's like, I'm so sorry. I did not know he had a girlfriend. You know, like I asked him and he said no. And I was like, yeah, no, girl, like I know. I saw the messages. I saw. And I'm still thinking he's just like gross. He's sexting. I'm thinking that's all there is. I'm not for a second anticipating what she's about to tell me. I'm thinking that they have just been sexting like all of these other girls so far. And she explained, you know, like, I'm so sorry. Like, we met up so recently. And I was like, how recently? And she was like, on winter break. And I was like, on winter break, you met up? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, and like, you hung out? And she was like, no, like, we had sex. And she gives me all the details. She was like, in fact, let me look at my calendar. She tells me the date. It was January 11th. She was like, yep, he picked me up, he took me to a parking lot. We fucked, and we quote unquote fucked because it was kind of, I'm such a bitch. But okay, so basically, she first tells me, you know, like they fucked with no condom. Gross. Gross. Disgusting. Which I chewed his ass out for because I'm like, okay, first, you're going to do all of this. Then you're going to actually take it as far as you can and sleep with a bitch. Then you're not even going to use protection. You're not going to tell me anything. You come back to my apartment the same week. You lay down next to me. You don't think about the possibility of giving me an STD, of doing anything like that. You're going to come into my apartment with the key that I gave you, smile in my face, act like nothing happened, knowing you just fucked a bitch less than 48 hours ago. Insanity. So yeah, she tells me, yeah, like he didn't even use a condom, and she was like, girl, like I don't know how you've been doing this, like he was terrible at it. And I was honestly dying because that's a story for another time, but like I was that's how it's hard because like she's the one person, because not the one person, one of three that I feel like I should have been like, oh my gosh, like because she was one of the ones that he physically slept with. But she was honestly, she kept it so real, and you know, she explained everything to me, and I was like, I'm sorry, because that's disrespectful to you. You didn't know he had a girlfriend, and you know, like he didn't even think about the fact that maybe you would want nothing to do with him, knowing he was in a committed relationship sleeping with someone else. He put your sexual health at risk as well as mine, and I'm sorry for that. And you know, like, she was the next girl. And then I go to the next one, and one of them is from Mississippi. And, you know, like I'm asking, you know, like what has happened? You know, like obviously I know that he's at school half the year. You know, I only come in and visit him for his birthday. Like, you know, I'm just trying to see what's up. And she tells me everything, and you know, like he didn't tell anyone he had a girlfriend, and you know, he fucks a lot of people around here. And I was like, okay, noted. And after her, honestly, I was just like, I don't need to talk to anyone anymore. I've got everything I've needed to hear. Like, we're good. I got mad as shit. I took all of his stuff. I put it in a garbage bag. I took his picture off the wall. I told him to put my fucking keys, take my keys off your keyring and put them on my counter, and you can get the fuck out because I have nothing for you. I don't want anything from you. I packed all of his shit, and like I was just so, oh, I went through so many emotions where I'm like hysterically sobbing one second, I'm screaming at him the next, and it's just like, it's Valentine's Day, guys. Remember, it is Valentine's Day, and I'm triggering myself all over again because like, looking back on this, reading the conversations and the extent that he went to just show absolutely no respect for me is insane. Sending our sex tape is insane. That's crazy. That's disgusting. Disgusting. The way he was talking to some of these girls, disgusting. Disgusting. he would tell me all the time how like he has a certain type and like I'm his perfect type and he doesn't like girls that are this and he doesn't like girls that are that. He doesn't like girls that aren't in the gym. All of the girls he was asking to breastfeed and like wanting to see what was under the clothes. And that's not to body shame anyone. It was just he really made it sound like he had his standards up here, right? And I fit all of those standards, and all of the girls that he's fucking with are the opposite. The opposite, which is why I will never again trust when guys are like, oh my gosh, I hate girls like this, I hate girls like that. Guarantee that's his fucking type. It's gross. It's disgusting. And nothing triggers me more than the amount of naked girls he had saved in his phone. Disgusting. To the point where when we broke up, I was like, delete every single thing I have ever sent you. I don't trust you having anything. If you can have all of these of your ex-girlfriends, like, yeah, you best believe I will not be one of those, ex-girlfriend. No. Disgusting. Disgusting. Disgusted to this day. And like that was just like a small portion of it, and as the weeks went on, more and more would come out because some of those girls, like didn't, I don't know if they needed to sleep on it or what, or if they didn't like the energy I had, because I'm not gonna lie, when I was in these Snapchats telling these girls to text me, I was not nice, because some of them I was just like, I was reading the messages, I was just disgusted, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, who is this person? Who have I been fucking sleeping next to? It was disgusting. And some of them had, actually have reached out like a little bit more recent. Some of them were a couple of weeks after the fact. And every single time someone else reached out, I would send him a text and I would be like, is there anything else you want to tell me? Like, are you positive there's nothing else you want to tell me? And he would always say the same shit, and he would be like, what, like, who said what, or what's the issue, like, what do you know, or what do you want to know about? And I'm like, no, I asked you if there's anything else. That was your opportunity to tell me. I'm not going to tell you what I know so that you can figure out a way to lie yourself out of it. Nope. I got all of my answers and clarity when I asked you if there was anything else. You denied it. I have the fucking facts in front of me. We're good. And it's like he didn't understand where my resentment began and why I'm so bitter now. Because I'm not gonna lie, guys, like immediately after Valentine's Day, I kind of like was way too okay. Like I was sobbing when he was here. When he was gone, I was seeing my friends within the next couple hours, and they were making me dinner. It was Valentine's Day, and like I was okay. I wasn't in pieces. My dad called me later that day, and he was like, Pie Face, which is his nickname for me, like, you're doing really well. Like, I thought you were gonna be really, really just, like, we're all so shocked because my family loved him. Absolutely loved him. My dad loved him. He coached him in high school. He thought he was such a great kid. I don't think I've ever seen my dad more disappointed in my entire life than him finding out what this person was doing, because he had everyone that fooled. But like I said, I was doing fine. I was very much in the mind state of feeling bad for him. And like when he was here, after I had yelled at him, after I was so pissed off, he started crying, and I actually felt bad. And I was like, like, it's okay. Like, you're gonna be okay one day. Even though my heart was fucking broken and he was sitting there crying on my couch, and I literally reached over and held his hand and told him, like, it is okay. This does not define you. This is not who you have to be. Like, you're gonna be okay. Looking back on that, I would have fucking told him to get the fuck out with those crocodile tears, because bullshit. Bullshit. Because from that moment on, he would continue to lie to me over and over and over again. And I guess I've gotten to the point, guys, where when you've been emotionally separated from a person for a long enough time, you start to see the relationship for what it actually was. And I thought we were in such a great place. I thought we were great for each other, but there were so many moments I was texting my friend being like, hey, like, this girl commented this, should I feel weird? Or Carlos said he's gonna go do this with this person. Is this okay? Should I feel stressed? Every single time he was doing something he had no business doing, and my intuition was like, no, bitch, that's not right. I would reach out to my friends and I would ask. And they always made me feel comforted, because obviously they thought Carlos was as good of a person as he said. But knowing what I know now, I know that those were all signs. Those were all intuitive feelings. My intuition was correct. He was doing something he shouldn't be doing. And he always made me feel crazy for arguing with him, for creating arguments out of nothing, for not trusting him. And that was his biggest thing. He would always be like, "You don't trust me? I'm nothing but honest. I'm the most honest person. Ask anyone. Have I ever been dishonest to you?" And of course, I couldn't pinpoint a time because none of this had been coming out yet. So, like, what could I say? And he was one of those people who would conveniently remember shit that he said. Always. He would only remember things when it worked in his argument. And so when I would explain things like, "Well, you said this like one day, and now you're saying this, and it's not making sense," he'd be like, "When did I say that? Show me the text." And I'm like, "You said it on the phone. You said it on the phone." And he would somehow go back and like find some kind of text message of that same day of something I was saying. He'd be like, "No, well, you said this actually, and I don't remember ever saying that." And he would always make me feel crazy, feel like I was delusional, feel like I didn't fucking understand reality. And like that was the thing. That is the biggest thing, is being involved with a pathological liar makes you feel like you are fucking crazy because they are so used to lying. I guarantee he doesn't even know where the lies stop and the truth begins because he's been so used to lying about who he is to everyone. I don't even know if his family knows who he is at his core, truly. Like, it's actually scary. And it's hard because like I've gotten to the point where like I just don't even want to really like talk about him to my friends or my family or anything because like the way he has my mind so fucked up is like insanity. I will never understand. And it just makes me want to be single because I can't imagine ever going through what I went through again. I can't imagine falling so in love with somebody and realizing that I never actually knew the real them. Everything I thought I loved about him, the person I thought that I loved, was literally built off of a lie, and I genuinely can sit here today and tell you I don't know who he is for real. I don't know. I don't know if I ever met the real him. I don't know if there was a real him because everything he talked about was a lie. Everything he painted himself out to be was a lie, and everything he was to me was dishonest. So it's crazy when you get out of it, and I think of like all of the nights I sat and laid next to this person, dreaming about life, imagining life, talking about what we would name our future kids, how many kids we were going to have, what our life was going to be like, ways I was willing to shape my standards and my boundaries and be everything for this person. It like makes me feel honestly not so like negative towards myself anymore like I used to, but it does genuinely scare me to ever put myself out there again. I think more than anyone ever did. And John, my first relationship, I took such a long break and I didn't really know how to recover from that, and I thought that was bad enough. But being with Carlos and genuinely feeling like I had found my forever person and like everyone in my life loved him for me and this was the person that I was supposed to spend my life with. I saw myself like I genuinely saw myself spending my life with this person, and all of the dreams and visions I shared with him, all of the things that we went through, all of the things that I stayed through, and thinking genuinely, like, there is nobody in this world I want more than you. I will delete my social media. I will get off of whatever I need to because you are it for me, and me feeling so passionately about it. So passionately. Flying out to see him, spending money on him. I never fucking really had to spend on him, you know? Like, I was paying rent, I was paying my electricity bills, all of this shit. Like, I spent all of my shit on him. Bought him, his PS5, his limited edition fucking like $700 Jordans, like all of the shit I did for him because I thought that is just how much I love you. And knowing the person that I loved didn't exist is like the biggest mind fuck ever. And it's terrifying to go back into the world, especially the dating world now, and thinking like, oh my gosh, like there's someone out there for me. And like it's hard because obviously deep down in my heart, I know that there is somebody out there for me. I know that there is somebody who is meant for me, who will treat me correctly, who is ready to be in a committed relationship with me, and who will want that. I know. But it's like the fact that I don't even want to take those steps anymore. It's like I've lost hope in the idea of a true, honest, healthy love, because he was the person that I felt like was saving me. He was the person I felt was different than everyone I'd ever encountered. He was the person who came to help me heal my trauma, not make me more traumatized. He was the person who was patient and kind and loving and wanted the best for me. And for him to turn out to be the person who hurt me worse than anybody ever did, it's like, how do you go on? You know what I mean? Like, how do you ever look at love again? How do you ever want to love again? Because it's like you only have so many disappointments in you before you're like, okay, well, what's the fucking point? You know what I mean? Like, I don't really know. And it's like, I guess I don't even know, guys, because like someone like him, I know that he's going to continue his cycle, and like however bad he feels now, or he's really like going through it, whatever it is that he says, he's blocked now, but you know, whatever he's probably going to paint to everyone, it's like never again will I ever trust or believe anything that he said or says. And it's like scary because if you haven't been impacted by him, you're not going to ever see it. And it's like it's so hard because like every part of me wants to just like blast his face everywhere and be like, be careful with this man, because I know he's going to do it to someone else and he's going to do it over again. And it's like, ugh, I can't save the next person, unfortunately. Like, I wish I could, but it's just who he is. And like, I can't have him in my space. I can't have him in my life. I can't have him be somebody I look at on social media. Like, you know, like he just has to be gone from everything. And so I won't ever be able to warn the next girl. I won't ever be able to potentially save her. And hopefully people change, but I genuinely, this one, I feel like has been living a lie for so long. I don't know if it's possible for them to ever change. And I think the only way that they're going to continue on is by finding someone who is clueless, like I was, and who isn't as in tune with all of the details that I was, who's not going to care about his female friends, about his exes. He's going to paint some kind of picture. I promise he probably already has it working about the picture he's going to paint about me, and he's always going to conveniently leave out everything that he did to me our entire relationship. And I'm at peace with that. Like, truthfully, I'm at peace with it because I know for a fact that I've never met anybody as delusional as he is. And it, I don't know, it sounds so bad, but it makes it easier for me to separate myself from that point in my life, to separate myself from that relationship, and to understand that he is a fucked up individual and he'll have to answer for that one day. And I don't need to spend any more time, you know, defending myself or making people understand that I didn't deserve it, because I simply didn't. You know what I mean? And like, I think he's going to struggle more being real than I will struggle finding someone who truly loves me. And I'm just going to take my time by myself. I enjoy being single. I missed being single, truthfully. Like, I didn't know how much I missed it until I realized how much I was asking out of this person to do the bare minimum, to see me a little bit more, to make a little bit more time for me, to take me on a date, to do fucking something for me, you know? Like, every single year for his birthday, I would fly out to see him. All of the time. He never spent a single birthday with me. And it's like small things like that, that it's like, sure, he may have had a busy schedule, but so did I. I took off work every single time to go and see you. Money out of my own pocket to go and see you. You know what I mean? Rented a hotel just so that you could see me for your birthday, so you didn't feel alone. Shit, I never had to do that. He never, you know, didn't give a fuck about me enough to do, you know what I mean? So it's like, there's someone out there for me one day, whenever that day comes, that is going to be so ready for everything that I want out of a relationship, who's going to be so excited to give me it, who is going to want to commit, who is going to be loyal, who's going to look at me and see absolutely everything that they've ever wanted in a person. And it's going to be equal, it's going to be a match, and I am going to be so happy when that day comes. But for now, it's a hot girl summer. Gonna enjoy it with my friends, have drunk weekends, do whatever the fuck I want, not answer to anyone, and when Mr. Right comes along, I'll be ready and I'll be prepared. Because as much as I would love to stay in a little box and not be open to anyone and not be open to love, I would be doing myself a disservice if I shut down because of this person and his impact on my life. I forgive him for the actions that he took, but I will never forget the impact it had on my self esteem, on who I look and see in the mirror every single day, and the ways I would question myself and wonder, like, what about you was so wrong that he had to look for what he wanted in so many different people. And I think something people don't talk about is like when, for a girl, at least from my experience, when a guy sexualizes so many other girls in the most intimate ways, I think that's what broke my heart the most. Because with my past and dealing with the shit that I had, sharing that was something that was important and it was special to me. And for him to take it and still want more, I think hurt more than anything else. And it's something I think that will always hurt and that I'm always going to be so cautious about, and something I'm going to just, I hate to say shut down, but like at the same time, like never again will I feel like anybody deserves to know me like that or know my body like that or have me in those ways, because it was important and special each time I gave that part of me, and I gave it to a person who didn't understand how special that was. And that's a part of me, I think, that I don't want to say will forever be broken, but will forever be impacted. And, it's sad. But, like I said, one day I'm going to be with somebody who wants to be with me. And it's going to be good. It's going to be healthy. It's going to be everything I ever wanted. And we're going to live our happy ever after. But I'm never going to ignore the red flags again. I'm never going to settle. And I'm going to find somebody who is sure about me the first time. Not somebody who needs to be convinced, not somebody who needs to have me threaten to leave for them to want to step up just to break my heart even more than it would have been broken if he would have just let me go and told me he was not ready for a committed relationship. But yeah, guys, that is my story time. Excuse me. Sleeping next to a stranger. Pathological liar, whatever it is I name this story time. That is Carlos. That is the end of Carlos. I don't think I'll ever have another story time about Carlos because I've gotten it all out, but I wanted to just give you guys that. But I love you guys so much. We're almost at 4,000 subscribers. I will see you guys in my next video.